Cambridge Rock, my water's delicious. Yeah.
Okay, ready. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to board members, staff, anybody listening in on the Zoom program.
But Putin's long table.
Yes. So I think you're all familiar with the health and safety, but just remember where the exits are and evacuate if necessary to the Texas street and assemble in the playground area. The meeting is being recorded, live streamed, the YouTube channel. And there'll be a meeting note, I think, on the council website. I don't think there's any extraordinary business. So we'll move on to apologies. I have two apologies to make. One for Aidan, who gives us apologies. He's travelling up country or down country now, trying to get home to do a family function. And also an apology for Belle, who's still slightly unwell, and so best left where she is. So can I have somebody to move the apologies, please?
I'm here.
Second it? Yeah. Are there any other apologies? No. Conflicts of interest. Do we have any conflicts of interest? I don't think we should. No. Do we have any acknowledgements and tributes?
Yes.
I've got one.
Yes, I do. I do. I'd just like to acknowledge the passing of two of our Amatua and Kuya here in Martinborough last week on the same day, which was Randall Aranui and Sarah Holes, and both of them were so firstly Randall Aranui was here for many years in Martinborough. He and his brothers and sister they worked tirelessly raising funds for the Hauriki Marae to be built. Not just raising the funds, so when I say that, they were workers, so they went out and did like sheds and worked in the sharing sheds, and because they all had their sharing contractors. All of the funds went towards building the marae. They were builders, they ploughed the land, they got everything done. So the work that the Aranui whānau, and also Hauriki, the name Hauriki is actually from the maunga that belongs to the Aranui whānau and Ngāti Pāhawera. So that's where that name comes from. So it's integral that is remembered as well. Auntie Sarah Holes, her work was tireless. She and trying, and keeping Kirill alive here in Martinborough over the years. Her work with youth and her love of this area, right through until the day she passed. She was taken to hospital and moved to live with her children over COVID, and she made her way back home because she loved it here in Martinborough so much. So I just wanted to pay tribute to both of them today.
Thank you, Pip. Public participation, we have none, so we're going to need to work with that. Community board minutes. Can I have a nomination for the seconder, and it's nomination and seconder for the last meeting minutes? I understand we're not here to discuss anything in the minutes. We're here to just correct them as being correct or correct.
I'll make that.
So,
Pip,
seconder?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So now, before we get to the chairperson's agenda meeting items, did you want to do the karakia?
Wow.
There is one in the application.
Absolutely. Hukua te wairua kia rere ki ngā taumata, hai arahi I tātou mahi, me tātou toke, me tā tātou whai I ngā tikanga a rātou mā, kia mau kia ita, kia kore ai I ngaro, kia pupuri, kia whakamaua, kia tina, hui e, ai ki e.
Thank you.
All right.
So move to the Chair's report. Right. Okay. So the first item on the Chair's report and the report here we have is the urban and rural booms. It's come to our notice that while the community accepted that the council no longer look after booms, I think there's a demarcation around where some of those booms sit. And in some of the rural areas, they don't belong to anybody. And we need to be looking at that as a decision. So I'd like to open up any discussion on where we think this should sit in terms of, is it fair to leave it to locals to look after some of those difficult booms? And just as a local point, and I think now we have the mayor in presence, I could talk about Regent Street as one of those issues in a local sector that provides a problem in the drains on Regent Street that many of the local residents look after the immediate boom, but there is a long grass growing process around the drainage, and we're finding it hard to get people to do that. We talked about in a conversation with the mayor and one of the interested residents about trying to get some community people up to support that. I haven't seen any action in respect to that, but I just wonder if we have any collective thoughts as to what we might be doing.
Is Regent Street the part where you've got all the new footpaths?
Yep.
And then you've got a little bit without?
Yep.
That messy bit that way?
No, but the messy bit's all along
It's
that.
on the other side.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
Had it?
Where the footpaths end, and then you've got that part of Regent Street where you've got.
No, those are they're the ones that have homes that
We contacted
the other side of
that house.
So it's on the other side of the road and it goes right through past the
Yeah,
Claremont
I know you mean.
and
On the
down
left-hand side.
to
Yep.
that whole area.
So is it just untidy or is it?
It's untidy.
But the grass in a lot of those, and a lot of those ones, like you notice it. Even all the way down to like Cambridge Road to from New York Street down. In the ditch, like the grass is so long, so people can't mow in there.
Can't get in there.
You know, they can't get in there. It's too awkward and on there, you know, they tip over even if they want to ride on.
Yep.
So they can't get in there. So what's happening is there's massive, right, because anywhere that's rural was always meant to still be done.
So this changed a couple of years ago.
So, yeah, but
They saved 100,000.
verges were always meant to be done.
I didn't realise.
It was urban, and that was what was put to people was to stop.
The urban.
Yeah, was to stop the.
Just the way.
It was because the rural was done in a longer time frame, so it didn't have the same.
Cost.
Yeah,
Because we've always.
Whereas yeah. So, but however,
Yeah.
it was
That's not
sustainable at the time.
Yeah.
So it could be different. But what I've noticed in the urban area, the other thing is people are mowing their berms, but they're not doing it with a catcher on. And so what's happening is it's all going down straight into the drain, and now all of the drains are being clogged up. So you're getting way more flooding around more of the street. So
Yeah.
are we saving money by, is the council saving money by not mowing? But actually what we need is the drains sucked like every 2 months or something like that. So it needs to be done 6 times a year. Is my thinking, with the amount of grass that's actually going in there, because all of that is going to block all of our drains. So all of our stormwater is going to get.
You can see that it gets really long and there's no.
Look, everywhere, it's happening everywhere. All of the, it's actually all the pipes and everything are all getting blocked up. So we need to kind of really have a look at that, because
We need it. Its function.
does council need to take it back?
But if they haven't taken it, they need to do something about it. The other thing
Yeah,
about it
that's
is,
right. Or if they're not taking back the mowing, then they need to be increasing the suckage of the drains. And I know that's not the right word, but
it's not just
suckage.
for that, it's also in the summer, like this last summer didn't affect it.
No,
That with the long grass and the hay that comes about, it becomes a huge fire risk.
huge virus.
And so we have to be cautious of that. So what do you think our best form of action should be? Making a note to council through this note to say we'd like to review, have the policy reviewed?
I think so. I think it's more than time to actually have a look at that because where does it sit?
Yep.
Really, it needs to be looked at again on how drains, like the mowing, the drains. The drains are being done because, like I say, people cannot mow those because it's, they're massive drains. And they're needed, but the water can't get through because the grass is so high and weeds and.
Yeah, because you can see for some people, when like outside Palliser Vineyard, the Pencarrow one, they're doing that with a pretty massive tractor because nothing else can get down and around without falling over. We do our rural bit with the ride on, the actual culvert, we can't do it. Actually spray it because we just have to keep the weeds down because otherwise it got.
So let me summarise then. What we're asking council to do is to clarify the berms,
Is there any?
rural and urban.
So at every council meeting, there's a spot for the community boards to come and speak about what's risen. And I think that with this here, I think it wouldn't hurt to actually just come and talk about what.
But we can still raise the point here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the point we're talking about, so just for Katie's clear, we're talking about defining the difference between urban and rural and also defining where there is an instance, how do we cope with it?
Mm.
Is that clear?
So you're requesting clarification from officers on the definition of urban and rural berms.
And where the lines are, maybe around Martinborough.
It's already on the internet. So there's a map which defines Martinborough's urban boundary. So
Really difficult to read the roads on that.
it's available publicly is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you can have a look at the map and see exactly where the boundary is, and that was the boundary that was used in that council policy.
So just
Circulate that.
sort of example,
Clear away though, like we just want to know where the roads are, so we know Regent Street, but.
You can see them.
so for example, if you're talking Regent Street towards the Claremont, is that clearly defined on there?
That's within the urban town boundary.
That's that side of it.
Both sides of it.
Then why are they rural?
They're within the boundary, the Martinborough urban rural boundary map. So that means that they're not, that means they're captured by that policy.
What? So that was, those boundaries were defined specifically for that policy.
I believe these boundaries come from the district plan.
Yeah.
I think this is a district plan definition that we use.
So,
I'm not sure about that, but
and I know that there are blocks that are considered residential rural. Things like that, it's weird, but they're trying to move those, but we do need, I guess we need to know because whose responsibility is it?
We need to clarify it.
Yeah.
Came under that change.
Yeah.
What are they doing now? What are they not doing?
Yeah, well, for mowing that when it's rural,
Yeah.
like it's considered rural, so who's meant to be mowing those
And I was going to say, if you're
rather than berms?
we can clarify the policy. We've done that before for the board, so I'll dig that out and I'll give it to you again. Okay. But I don't think that's going to solve the problem for you. The problem is that the policy is resulting in some
Downstream problems.
People can't get into the ditches.
Yeah.
It's working in all circumstances.
no,
It's grey areas.
Yeah,
Does that make it any clearer?
yeah. And also blocking drains.
Yeah, no, I mean, the policy was adopted.
Good night, good night.
I know, we have countless complaints about berms. And
You'd hire someone to manage
it's
that.
certainly a policy that hasn't,
And
politically speaking, it hasn't landed very well.
No, I think what it is as well is that, that it was advised that anyone that was older could just get in touch. If they were unable to do their berms, then council would still do them. And I don't know how, but I don't believe that that's actually been the case, or it might be for a couple, but not everyone. And so I maybe I can have a look at that as well, because I think there's some people who can't do them.
So the answer is, so
Hire contractors to do.
Right.
Stefan, so we're going to ask you for clarification.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll send you the policy.
So you're going to send us a policy for clarification. We also need, I've got to note that we've defined the urban and rural through the district plan maps on the internet. And if
I'll send you the map too.
Yep. And so clarifying that policy, because clearly, are you saying that if somebody's too old or can't do it, that they should get a contractor in to do it?
They should pay.
We haven't made any exceptions. Because the idea in the long-term plan, which was consulted with the community, accepted by the community, was that this was a money-saving measure.
And this was back though, and that would be looked at.
But the last,
So it wasn't the most recent one, it was the one before that.
absolutely, you can revisit the long-term plan.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But it was a money-saving measure.
So that money saving measure though, was it for the both urban and rural, or was it just for rural, urban, sorry?
It was predominantly for urban, because we found that 70% of people in the urban areas were already mowing their berms, and we were spending about $100,000 or something on mowing 30% of people's berms. So we asked the residents, would you mind if we didn't do them?
Yep.
And within the town boundary, you do them, and that'll save us $100 grand, and we can spend that on other stuff. And the community resoundingly said, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, because I'm still concerned at the rural sector, because if you drive down some of the roads, there are some long weeds that aren't being cared for. Now, I would see this would come under your roading contract, that they have, the roading contract doesn't cover.
No, I mean, if you've got, if there are areas in the rural area where the berms aren't mowed, that's a different issue. That's issue.
But if they're in the town boundary, but they're considered a rural.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'm rural or not now then.
But didn't you say that's?
Rural,
Well, I'm Todd Road,
I
so
mean, can you be in the town boundary and be rural? I don't think you can.
I'm special rural.
you are special rural.
I think there are different, things in the district scheme, aren't
Next
they?
one,
They're
but-
different.
Yeah.
But look,
So please have yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, because I think we need to have a look at that, because if you fall within the town boundary,
Yeah, well, we just need to know.
well, you just need to know if you meant it, yeah.
Yeah, there is a gentleman I saw and he actually just went out with a weed killer and killed his whole berm.
Yeah,
Which I thought then that's not enough somewhere, isn't it?
It
But
would be anti the process, wouldn't it? But never
I
mind.
thought, yeah, it doesn't look pretty.
Okay, so item 2, topic
Yeah.
3, is talking about mobility scooters in Martinborough and the footpaths relating to it. Now, thank you again to the mayor for his trial and error testing of the footpaths. I think, as you said, there was some surprises, some dodgy bits, some good bits. And so what we're looking for is really, there is a plan, I know, to do footpaths. And Stefan, I might be asking you the wrong question. You may not be the right person to ask, but there is a plan for footpaths and Greenaway is one. And I'm wondering, just as a question, why Greenaway is being redone versus some of the other footpaths which are far more trafficked. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but can you answer that question?
I can't give you an answer about the relative priority of to the maintenance of footpaths in the 3 wards, no.
Okay.
But you can write to us and ask us why, ask us that question.
That's-
I mean, the repair and maintenance of footpaths is based on usually based on an asset management plan.
Fine, right?
And so it's about how, you know, when the state of the footpath, the situation of the footpath, is it near a school, is it heavily used, how old is it?
So
You know, there's a lot of different factors.
when you look at a footpath, do you look at a section of the footpath? Do you look at the whole footpath? For example, when you have tree roots jutting out into the footpath, making it impossible to pass, putting people and mobility scooters on the road, that's a hazard. Now, how do we deal with that?
Well, normally if something like that occurs, people bring it to our notice, and then if it is urgent, if it's a hazard, it's prioritised on the work program.
Okay. So we need to send a note.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like any other.
What would you do? What, can I ask from a council perspective, because I'm interested in it. If a tree is on someone's property and it's, but the roots have slowly grown over the years and it starts to push up the footpath, what do you do? Because you can't make someone pull out their tree, or can you? There's safety reasons. Where does that sit in legislation or health and safety, you know, like, or what can you do?
I imagine with something like a tree growing over your property, if it's next door and goes over your property, you can cut anything that's on your property.
That's right.
You do the
Footpaths, I think, would be the same thing, wouldn't they?
No.
It's
Oh.
a case that large trees interfere with. It's normally underground services.
Yeah.
It's normally pipes that tree roots do a great deal of damage to, and we can ask the owners, and we do ask the owners to remove the roots.
So that's not pipes.
Oh, no, I mean, it normally is, but equally, if it was a public nuisance, we could ask the owners to remove the roots, or perhaps we'd ask them to remove the trees if it couldn't be dealt with. Yes, that does happen from time to time.
It does. Has it happened in your knowledge anywhere that you've worked? I'm really interested in this, like.
There's quite a bad one, isn't there?
A lot of them in
Milk Street, where the tree's gone, but the roots are still.
Why we have these rules around what you can plant in the burns, because people want to
Yeah.
trees in the burns, they don't realise how.
Oh, yeah, or any trees, but I totally get that, but and that's in the burns, which is different again. But if it's on someone's property and over the years, like what I'm saying is the tree could be 2 meters on someone's property, you know, like totally on someone's property. But if the roots are going out, what recourse do you have as council?
Still a public nuisance.
So you could ask them to cut down that tree,
Well,
and then when
discuss
council
roots first.
to remove the roots that are affecting the footpath.
The infrastructure, either the infrastructure on the surface or underneath, yes.
And leave the tree.
I think I said that at first, we might ask them to remove a root system that's been damaged to infrastructure. If that wasn't in the tree should be removed, then we'd probably look at that as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Just for my observation.
Do you want to come up just so they can hear you?
So I did end up going with Lenzo along New York.
Ask that question. So do you want to?
And so I have witnessed some of the tree root problem.
Mhm.
I think it would be fair to say if I wasn't in the mobility scooter, I would never have noticed them. I think that's one of the things about some of these hazards for mobility scooters, that if you'd driven around in a car or even on foot, you'd have just gone straight past it. Partly because it's a natural instinct to avoid a hazard and it's in the ground. But when you're on the mobility scooter, you can't. There's a couple of other quite severe problems of a similar ilk. Some people have grown their hedges so far out, including in New York Street, that actually there's sort of about this much space, you know, which is okay if you can put 1 foot on the path and 1 on the road, but a mobility scooter is a bit of a, I have to say that was a point where I was I've grown slightly timid of following Ted on the mobility scooter. It was a bit of a worry. So there are two substantial edges over the road. So what I think with some of them is that actually we have to have a mechanism for actually consulting mobility scooter users on reasonably regular basis and say, because after all, if somebody like Ed isn't actually using a particular stretch of footpath at the moment, then it makes much more sense to fix the bit that he is using. I mean, that's just a priority. I also think that in the sorts of things that we use to decide where work gets done, that the needs of people with low vision, mobility scooters need to be factored into that mix as well.
Wheelchairs.
Chairs.
I think it's but it's also people on crutches or it's
Anybody.
until you have an accident and suddenly you know, or a hip replacement or whatever, you know, it's not until those times that actually it becomes
Just another.
noticeable.
Some of these things are just plain annoying rather than, I mean, the hedge is a permanent barrier, full stop.
Yeah.
But after we'd got round onto Regent Street, we then came to a house that had dug up its driveway in order, I assume, to put some sort of infrastructure under the ground. Now, when people dig up driveways, they meant to put a metal plate over it so that people can, but this person hadn't, you see. It's probably not deliberate, it's probably just unthinking.
Yeah.
But to Ted, it was a hazard. To me, it was a deep concern.
Can I ask you another question just about this mobility scooter? And I've got do we have a policy or do we have an action where we consider mobility scooters, or for the wider definition, mobility or disability functions? Do we have a policy that addresses that? Because if not, I'm going to write a question to ask. How do we address those things? Because they should be prioritised.
I haven't seen a policy that deals with people who aren't fully able, but the footpaths and crossings and, you know, the use of the network, the standard is that it's available to all. So all of those, you know, the standard should be that people are on crutches and scooters and wheelchairs are able to use the infrastructure. So if they're not able to use it, then, you know, there's a genuine issue there that needs to be addressed. And prioritised.
Because I think that's one of the things that should come into if it's an area that's frequently used and has an issue, particularly for disability to people, we should be addressing that.
And please log those. Please log those.
So
Is it the same for the Martinborough community? Like if they're, if they notice with the footpath, someone's plants growing all over the footpath, things like that.
process.
Is it just up to
Is that all right?
the public or, you know, like to let the council know, and then is the council going to go to that household? Is that, what's the best way?
Yeah.
No, because I
I think if the council doesn't go and have a word with the landowner, probably won't get done. So we do very often knock on people's doors to people. I was out at St. Teresa's School.
that sounds.
I was out at St. Teresa's School this morning looking at a problem that emanates from a private piece of land, and we'll have to find out who owns that land and go and have a talk to them. You know, so I think it probably does fall on the council to have a chat with the landowner and ask them to do something about it.
And I think when I did my little piece with the Star, I basically put, if you don't report it, the council might not know it's there, so please report
Yeah.
it.
I don't know who else can do it.
Because
Yeah, I mean,
It's just all time, you know. It's just time.
yeah.
but it was very fast.
I mean, it'll get worse now as it comes into winter, but you know, it becomes really, really slippery when there's plants and things like that. Aggies going crazy across the footpath. Things like that they become really bad hazards. So cut them back for winter to make sure that people don't.
Perhaps it needs to be in the rates letter, a reminder to everybody.
Yeah.
They push the rates, that's right.
Put it in the Martinborough stuff.
Yeah, well, I did put the bit about
Yeah.
reporting it.
Yeah.
And because I reported a H that somebody else asked me to do, not yours, another H, and they went and checked it, and they came back within, and 2 days later and said, we've just checked it, we cut it 2 days ago, it's all done.
Right.
So they are following, they do usually follow pretty
Yeah.
quick, but
That's
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next topic is the Considine Park user group. Just ask Angela, did you send the terms of reference? Yeah,
yeah, it's all been updated.
it's all been updated.
Woo.
So we had a good meeting with new people, got a group together, so
Who's on it?
Who's on it? So we have Storm and myself. We have Michael Honey, who represents the new tree committee that's been formed. We have Frank from the campground. So we had James O'Connor came down, Susan Killsby, Charlotte Harding for the pump track, Sylvia Arnold for the story walk. Craig Nelson was invited but didn't come along to this one. Andrea Routini,
Grizzly?
yeah, from the Maori Standing Committee was invited, they were invited to come along, chose not to, but I said I'd keep her in touch with always getting the minutes, and always telling her what was coming up on the
Yeah.
agenda, so just keep them informed. Pam Cleanser is a residents representative, she's stayed on board as our
Great.
resident representative, and Hayley Bartholomew from Sadco Wines is our new residents representative. So it's got quite a good mix of,
good cross mix, yep.
yeah, old
Cool.
people and new people.
So we plan to have,
Old people, as in have been on the Considine Park user group for a while.
so we plan to have maybe 3 meetings through the year. Everybody
Great.
got input, so we've got some thoughts and plans in place, so we'll see how the progress makes.
Yeah.
The pump track, the cycle track is one good one, but they're at about a halfway stage of funding, aren't they?
100,000 they've got,
Spoken
they
of.
need
It's all.
280. So they're about, yeah, just over a third.
Just over 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah,
Got some issues?
I think she can listen outside. Yeah.
So moving on to topic 4 is the community engagement over plans and rates. Now, I think we have some council driven
Mhm.
opportunities there, so I don't know whether we want to do anything over and above that, but
Do come. Do come. Don't be afraid. There will be council representatives there to support as well. So, but be there because it's a really good opportunity to hear what your community's saying.
Yeah, I,
I understand.
you understood what I was trying to say with my little thing. I just thought out.
That's why I said I can be there in the evening and, you know, like, do come because it's,
I've done all the other community engagements,
yeah.
had in the thing.
Exactly.
I just felt that this was not an area I felt comfortable in. Probably once the frequently asked questions start to get printed,
They're
you know, as they come through, then you get a feel for it a little bit more.
absolutely.
Yeah, and probably once I've asked my questions. When
the
I'm-
question for this is, is there anything we want to do over and above what is suggested by council at the moment?
I've been asked by a few people, and this might be something that they're already doing, is there going to be an opportunity for a group session where people can come and listen to other people present and talk and ask questions in a bigger forum? So that they,
What do you mean present? There's the whole.
oh, I don't mean present, I don't mean present, so it would be if there was some people said they didn't want necessarily a one-on-one or a small group, but they liked the idea if everybody said, my question is this, and then you could hear someone else's questions.
I see, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a town meeting.
I like a public meeting before a comprehensive public meeting. That makes sense. A proactive public meeting.
Yeah. okay.
Sometimes you do.
It is interesting as well, because we don't have a lot of time, but with the drop-in sessions.
Expecting those to be one-on-one, though, to be honest, there might be one people talking, but
But, I mean, I feel, you know, I mean,
so if we go back,
So the answer is,
if a massive group came and they wanted, you know, like to ask their question in front of other people, because that's what they wanted to do. Which is really interesting, because so many people actually don't write.
so there is no plans at this stage for more public.
No, but do let them know about Monday, the 22nd of May. There's the opportunity to please come through, because what a lot of the time it is, it's just that they're wanting to hear what other people think.
Yeah,
Right? And that's fair enough, but if they have a look at the FAQs, those FAQs have actually been put together by questions that have already been asked by people right around the whole district. So where you might only hear maybe 2 or 3 questions from Martinborough. Actually, there might be like 12 or 14 questions that you hadn't even thought of that are being asked somewhere else, which still affect Martinborough. So once you start reading the FAQs, you're going to be really like, okay, feel so much.
I think where the person was coming from, I've had a couple of people mention it to me. I think they were saying, you know, where people wait until they go, oh my God, look at my rates, and oh, we demand a meeting and we demand this and we demand that. And then it's very aggressive as opposed to sharing the information in a different forum. Or just, and is there other forums other than a drop-in session? That's probably what I'm trying to say.
I want
Nothing planned is it?
Yeah, I don't like it being called in session. I think it should be like, you know, like people feel that they can come with questions for answers. It should be.
Yeah.
Mayor, is there anything planned over and above the, are you there?
Not that I know of.
No.
I would say that the feedback I've had would back up comments that you have had, that many people would like there to be a, if you like, a town hall meeting where they can hear what other people think. I don't know at all. I'd actually like to know what other people are asking, what are their issues. So I think if the community board was to do that, it would be very helpful.
Because we can organise that. A couple of years ago, they did that when the rates increase that went out was heavy.
And people were assured that for the next 2 years, there would be a cap on the increase.
But what we did at those meetings
Hasn't happened.
was a town hall meeting style, but you could make statements but couldn't ask questions.
Yeah, so that didn't really work.
Little hamstrung.
And there was one way it was.
You could make statements, you could speak, but you couldn't ask questions. So it got a bit sidetracked.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that we could, within the community board, organise if there was enough to get a town hall meeting, we could get the feedback and input from the council to attend.
So after the May the 22nd one, what's the time frame?
Look, to be perfectly honest,
It's only a month.
there's they're starting from the 8th, so from next Monday. So I mean, if the Martinborough Community Board wanted to put something together for next week, just slap it up on the Martinborough Community Board page and do it like it could be in the supper room here and just you know, you've had people coming to you already.
Yes.
Just put it out there and just say, hey, look, come.
I think we should.
I'm quite happy to be, I just can't do.
No, when you're waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is to listen to what people are saying, and if I keep getting more people asking for the same sort of format, then it might be that is something that we could look at doing.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see till you get, next week we've got the first drop in, see what sort of responses you're getting, checking out the frequently asked questions.
If you're waiting until the end of the drop,
Oh, that's what I was trying to work out, what time.
everything has to be kind of consolidated, like
By the end of May.
It's the last on the 22nd of May. Before then, if you're wanting to do something, that's why I say it's not a massive time frame.
I'm just wondering, instead of our normal Martinborough Meet the Community Board sessions for this month of May, if we could find a time that worked for as many of us as we can, we could just say, look, we're actually all going to be in one place at this time for you to come down and give them another opportunity with a larger group.
Yeah.
And just say complete, and it doesn't just have to be out the rest, but it's a complete drop.
And then all we need is
Yeah.
copies of the draft consultation document.
Yeah.
If you like, I think we
No.
probably want to be more specific. If you're going to have a meeting, town hall meeting,
Yeah.
you're going to say, we're going to have a town hall meeting on this day, and you invite people to attend. That's more.
But if you've got a town hall meeting again, it's like, then it becomes like, are we presenting? Or are we doing it as a round a circular table, people talking?
Q&A.
Yeah,
But didn't you say Q&A?
but Q&A is what people wanted.
Yeah.
They want a Q&A. They don't want to.
No.
My understanding is, and I hear it all the time, they don't want to be presented at.
No,
That's actually not what
they want to be listened to.
they want to be listened to. So,
Yeah.
so it's about having the opportunity to come and that's why I say having a drop-in session. Call it what it is. It should be called a Q&A and that's what we could be doing on the 22nd of May.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. So actually you could say, let's make that a bigger event.
Can we do that instead of having it as a drop-in?
You've got two.
Because it's where is it? It's here.
I think 10 to 11:30 is the drop-in. And then,
Just make it a bigger event or something.
and then 6 to 8:30
What's the venue?
as a Q&A. Yeah,
I think, isn't it?
if we need to, we can go on there, but
Yeah.
have it so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we allowed to do that?
Fine. Can they change the format of the annual plan drop-in sessions?
What we're being told.
Sorry, that's not my.
No, you're.
So I think what we're being,
Ask people that are
yeah.
recognised, which is a meal.
So we should make a quick
It's just-
shield,
And
just ask. if-
sorry, I'm just going to say something really quickly. What we're being told and what my understanding is that they're not wanting. I mean, last time we sat there and we got 4 people.
Yeah,
That's not what I want. I want buy-in from the community and we know that they've got a lot of questions. So it's.
Yeah.
We hear you.
Yeah.
We've got our, like we have our fact sheets and if there's anything else that we can help with, because I'm assuming that there will be council officers as well as the councillors there. So, like just 1 or 2 or, because between us, I'm sure we'd be able to answer the majority of the questions. And I think maybe that's the opportunity to do it. So we don't miss out and we kind of get to be able to consolidate as much of what we're hearing as
Yeah.
from that. It's about getting the traction. It's about getting the
exactly.
coming through.
How they want to do it.
Mm.
If that's what they do.
And it could still be like that 1.5 hours.
Not for anything. Yeah. I think it would be, looking at what those frequent asked questions are, but getting people an opportunity to come together to talk about it. You say you don't want people to go in 2s or 3s to the sessions offered when a bigger group might come, because consultation is how they want it to be, if that's what they want, if they feel more comfortable in a bigger group. I don't know.
I think the first thing we've got to do.
We need to contact.
Check with Shield.
I mean, those sessions are primarily for political folk to communicate with the public. So you might like that format that you've just described, and it sounded really good to me. But
I actually don't like it at all, but I'll do it.
But what I'm saying is,
Not what I want for me to do.
what I'm saying is, you might want to check in with the other councillors, with your team, and if everybody feels the same way, like Sheila and Amanda, to see if the format can be changed.
Mm.
It's a good idea.
Well, because I think everywhere's getting the opportunity to have a day and a night. And it may be that the day ones, you catch some, but the night you'll catch others and.
Yeah.
And it's really your gig. So if
So you've
your team want to run it that way, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't.
Okay.
What are we trying to do? Do you want us to go to Shield or Amanda and just say, can we change?
Well, first of all, we need to know, can we change? And then we decide, is this what we want to do as a team
Mhm.
for Martinborough? Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah.
Because
That's okay.
if people don't turn up.
What's your kind of thing been? Have you
Yeah.
said anything about, like with
Well, we
feedback about
just
the live consultation?
Haven't had any feedback about the program we're running. So the feedback I have is people have got questions, but whether they're going to be brave enough to turn up to ask questions, I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah,
But
I thought you guys.
Public speaking, which is
No,
why we thought the drop-in, but.
yeah,
To be perfectly honest, I haven't seen a massive uptake in any way, shape or form of the drop-ins that I've been involved in
I
the
think
past.
it's a perception that it's a done deal. Well, you guys have accepted it. I mean, what, you're going
No.
to explain it?
No, we accepted it to go out as a draft consultation document. So that way we get it out to the public. That's what's
Is
been
a
approved.
perception that there's only a very narrow choice that anyone can make. Do we want Elisa Water? Do we want part-time people at the library? Like, it's not, because,
you
there's,
feel like it's not the whole.
you feel like it's not the whole document, that you guys have said, yeah, we're happy with this. We've got a very narrow choice. We've got A, B, C. And I think people feel as though they can't question anything more than that. And it's a fait accompli. That's the sort of,
What do they want? What have you heard they want to question instead?
well, a lot of things. If you look at that document, and I have looked at it fairly carefully, to me, it doesn't build a cohesive argument for the extra money. There isn't even. I know that the previous yearly reports, financial reports were not audited, But you can use an unaudited figure, like there's a percentage.
And that's what was used.
We're suggesting that we need an extra percentage over and above what we had the previous year, but the actual figure isn't there that I could see. It isn't a cohesive argument for.
So that was put out in September last year, I believe, the unaudited one. So the unaudited report was already.
Anyway, when we look at percentage, we've got these pies of how much money we've got in different areas, but to me, it doesn't explain, what is the extra operational cost? Okay, we've had, anyway, I mean, to me, it doesn't logically build a case.
All I was thinking.
That's why I don't want to. That's the thing. That's what we need to hear. If there's different.
This is
parts. Yeah. I know. But hey, you sit here, you're elected to speak on behalf of not just yourself, but you are also a ratepayer.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. But in terms of that document, I'm just saying that I cannot front it because I don't understand it enough and I wasn't involved like you guys were on 3 consultation sessions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you guys are going to get to front it.
Yeah.
So that's good. But then
so we're in there, and that's what I'm saying, that as the community board, are you wanting us, because that's what I'm saying, both Aidan and I put our names forward.
Yeah.
For that. As the community board, and if you're hearing that people are wanting actually, they'd rather do a Q&A session where they can come and hear what the questions are, the people are asking, what the answers are. Because I'll tell you what, I find quite effective is when lots of people are in one place and they hear the same answer.
Yeah.
It tends to be, rather than one person hears one thing and then by the time it gets to that person, it's quite different.
I understand.
Sometimes it can be more effective.
So
I don't know, but
as a resolution,
I'm quite happy to.
I'll talk to Amanda and Sheila tomorrow
If it's possible.
to see if we can make any change to one of the programs.
Would you like me to send out an email to I can reply to the email that has about the ward drop-in sessions? It includes councillors, the community boards and Māori Standing Committee as well. And
It'd be interesting.
and I'm quite happy to send an email out as your councillor.
I would be interested, it would be good if you did, as anyone else had the same, anyone else see the value in doing a.
That's right.
Let's
Find out what the advertisers of other councillors.
Okay, so the outcome of that is if there is a positive response, we then are charged with getting people to come along.
Well, that's what I'm saying, then we've got to see if,
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm quite happy to
That's good.
pick something up on my face.
Good. Sending an email. Okay. All right. So moving on. Stephen, I'm going to ask you this. The topic of number 5 is the State Highway 53. In organising or planning and organising some events, like the Christmas parade, we're just wondering what the actual functions are of, can we move around the square on the square side? Where does 53 end, and do they have a right of access or stoppage of just doing anything around the square? You understand what I'm talking about? So what if we have a Christmas parade, for example? Christmas parade is what we're talking about. So if it's coming out up Jellicoe through the square, we would be going past 53's stopping point. Can NZTA stop us from going past that? What pre-functions do we have to have so there'd be a closure of the road? We'd have to put a notification at a detour point. But is that all we'd have to do?
So.
We're going to talk to Mark Owen about this as well to get his input.
But if you have a Christmas parade, you should submit a traffic management plan.
Yeah, we do. But before we do that, we need to know what we're submitting the plan on. And that is, if we do have to do things under NZTA's rules, that makes it prohibitive. If we can do it under local council.
Highway finishes at the
The crossing.
But
like
in the square should be fine.
yeah,
like with anything, so if you're going through an intersection on State Highway, NZTA own 20 or 30 metres inside crossroads. So you can't do anything off those as well. So I'm just trying to find out whether in fact there is something that's going to prohibit us because it finishes on a pedestrian crossing and we're moving in the street behind it.
I wouldn't imagine that's going to be an
Look, I'd hope there would be a reasonable
I
understanding.
think we can go around the square in our Christmas parade.
Yeah, and put
You didn't mean to.
slap a coat on either.
We'll give you,
It's the end of the road, isn't it? It's the end of the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the only thing is
But you might have to shut the, you just have to think about how you manage the traffic that's coming down that road and.
Yeah.
And then having to,
we can have detours to them.
line,
yeah,
where the lines got.
yeah, but it's good thinking in advance.
Okay, so I don't need to make any note to you. You think we can do that, or do you want to see an official note from us on that one?
Oh, if you want to confirm that you can go around the square for the Christmas parade, maybe just, yeah, drop me a line, pick that out with.
Drop you an email. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I can't confirm that the mayor is putting a proposal to council to terminate State Highway 53 sooner than at the square, because there's been quite a demand from business groups, community groups.
Yep.
And the school to actually terminate it at a point earlier. And you don't agree with that?
No.
Okay.
Overwhelmed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Look, I'd love to see them, if you could CC, forward them to me.
It has been muted before.
It has been,
People didn't like the
look, my biggest concern is that any stretch of road, the amount of costings to actually maintain and look after that. And it's how much can our ratepayers afford? Okay, that new stretch of road, how much would we need to have proper analysis on how much the cost would be to take that over from Wakakotahi, because I think that we would be absolutely remiss in not having that information before we actually look at putting forward anything else. And yeah, that to me is a massive concern, because I believe it costs a couple of $100,000 to get that bit of, or I don't know, but how much was it, Stefan?
Just
To get the road done, that was just done?
Well, you're talking about resurfacing.
Yeah, just for the state highways.
It's a few $100,000.
It was.
The type of
Okay.
boat that's used to.
Yeah. So are you saying that we could use a different type of asphalt and do it a lot cheaper as the council, or?
I think I'm agreeing with the mayor that before you, I'm agreeing with the both of you.
Very safe. Very safe.
Before you make a decision on this, you really want to have a good close look.
That's my biggest concern. I don't want to put anything like this forward without knowing what the cost would actually be for our ratepayers to be looking at.
And what is the
I think in
potential?
addition to the cost, you've got to be looking at the benefits.
Yeah, what are the potential?
What are the benefits? I'm just, because one, the Martinborough Fair takes up right around the whole area and doesn't, State Highway 53,
They've never had a
what
problem.
does it affect there? It literally only affects one little part of State Highway 53. It encompasses like right round the square, that whole.
I don't understand what the benefits, potential benefits are.
The classic car. Right?
Mhm.
Look, I didn't want to start a lengthy.
No, but you know, it's,
I'm just saying.
but it is on here, and I think we should talk about it.
That this be considered.
Considered. And I'd like,
And that ought to be consulted.
My
I'd like,
practical recommendation be that we have a form of finding out what do businesses along Kitcheners think, what do other.
Right, don't think Kitcheners would want it.
And indeed, I've already
I don't
had
think so.
a very strong, shall we say, submission from the school regarding fines, Martinborough Fair and.
The vines don't go down there.
I don't understand.
Around the vines, not in the middle.
You State Highway 53, around the vines is done right round here.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, they only cross it a bit further.
They only cross one.
Yeah, the slides.
Yeah.
They have to be required to have a traffic management.
Wait. Okay, yeah, we definitely need to have a look at it then.
Is
Something that happens once a year.
have a traffic management plan. The motivation is to save the cost of.
And wouldn't they still need something from council?
You still need. They have to apply it to.
So Wakatahi, because it's not state owned.
And the other thing is, the council have options, but Wakatahi is not prepared to countenance.
What sort of option?
Well, we can close a road much easier than they would ever permit us to close a road.
But it already happens a few times a year.
It's the cost has gone up, that's the
Yes,
people.
but are you aware of the cost of it?
Not down to the last dollar.
No,
No.
it's really expensive.
Okay. More than the cost of maintaining the road? That's what we need to find out, I suppose.
Probably not.
Well,
Okay,
probably,
well,
probably over 20 years, probably it is.
We shouldn't deal in.
But let's-
Probably.
No, let's get some information.
Let's get information put together.
Yep, I think that's.
I think there's one thing I think we need to, is this a potential for a workshop type activity involving groups to discuss the full opportunity if you want to get cost benefit?
I think if you're the Martinborough Community. And you're in constant touch with your community, you're doing engagement and outreach. If your community is coming to you, knocking your door down to do this, and it's an obvious identified priority, then dig into it, get into it. If it isn't, I would suggest that you might not want to do that.
No, I don't think it is.
And I can tell you that they have already done it to the community,
Right? Who has?
the business society.
The business association.
When did they present to the Martinborough Community Board about
Double
this?
check. I got the notes
Okay.
Because
in the last 4 years.
are you talking about when they were talking about having it as a walkway? Where they were making it as a.
Pedestrianise it, didn't they? Want to pedestrianise it.
They wanted to pedestrianise it, which was slightly different plan too. Unless that's also part of the scope of what you're wanting to have a look at.
But you cannot pedestrianise from the square to High Street if you don't own the road.
So is it in the,
Okay,
what they're looking
so
for again.
this may be something
Okay,
else.
bring it back up.
Yeah, so this is something else
Thank
again. Okay,
Okay, so I'll just, so there's word going on in the council, so we'll leave it sitting.
yeah, please, if we could.
But we'll also look at, in our own minds, who we need to get feedback from for this sort of activity. So if it is, Stephen has rightly pointed out, if nobody's knocking our door down, there's no issue. But if they are knocking our door down, we should put them up.
well, has anyone had anyone?
But can I just say, having been involved in lots of Christmas parades as well in the past, and the traffic management plan was normally done by Sean, and it literally was only, it was dealing pretty much just with the council because it wasn't included as part of the state highway. Being able to. go
Last
around on the square, so
Last year's parade was cancelled because we're going to do a safety management program.
was that from costings though?
Yes.
Yeah, so from the cost to Wakakotahi? I don't believe so. I think it was to the council.
Council, but
So previously it comes through to community board and it didn't.
I think it might have been closed because I thought they were starting from Odland Street, which is Odland Street covered in the
What's up?
Dublin Street, sorry,
Okay.
Dublin Street. Is Dublin Street covered in the boundaries of NZTA because it's the bypass?
No.
Was it just our local road?
I was just.
Yeah. Yeah, and it has started from there before, right from when the truck stop used to be there, so, or truck stop, sorry, the transport.
Christmas parade was cancelled last year too.
Yeah.
But that was it involved the state highway, but Martinborough one hasn't in the past, and that was Sean McGillicuddy that would normally organise that because he organised traffic management in his job.
Oh, right,
So
yeah.
So
It was the other Maddox guy who said last minute he couldn't do it. the one.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Not Sean, not the other guy.
Same.
Jen. Yeah, get in.
Makes it easy to be in a production.
Okay, so we're going to wait, just to close this off, we're going to wait to hear from what the council may be doing in terms of looking at further options with State Highway 53. And we should start inquiring ourselves as to whether there is any interest.
But that's different from them coming to us and saying, do it. That's us going out,
So, and so,
when the idea to them.
yeah.
He's ever really
Yeah.
expressed it to me. I mean, I have heard that years ago there was a push to pedestrianise it.
And nobody.
Yeah.
And nobody, at the end of the day, nobody really wanted that, because they thought, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why stop people being able to go there? Is there a major problem?
I think from a financial point of view at the moment, just try and add to our roading network doesn't seem
No,
a sensible thing.
I don't know.
I think it's hard because it is lovely to be able to actually have places where you can just walk and that there isn't the traffic.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't all the businesses, because the businesses that were along there were worried that they wouldn't be able to get any of their,
So
any of
I
the top.
That's right.
So it was a little bit of a,
It would free up more places to sit.
so that's why I think it's important that we just have a look and see what information is coming from the people on State Highway 53, the businesses there that have asked for it.
Fixing the money.
Yeah.
So should our commentary be then that we go and talk to the people on the businesses? of 53? I'm happy to undertake that.
I'll give them, I'll-
Well, if the people come to us and ask, has someone actually come and asked anybody? The mayor says somebody, you've had people approach you. and said they
Lobbying
want-
you about.
The first person who ever came up and spoke to me in Martinborough said, I want to talk about two things.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the second one is. The first one is it's a long time, it's a long past time, the council's responsibility for Martin State Highway 53. Business, there was a
Business
leading
owner.
member of the Martinborough Business Association, said businesses have been keen on this for a very long time. I went back to the chief executive and I said, well, look, Mr. Chief Executive, you're a person with a long history with Wellington today. This is what I've just been told. What's your view? He said, I think that sounds an excellent idea, as long as we wait until after Wellington have resealed it.
Of course it did.
He did something at that point. And then a few months later, lo and behold, started to find the resealed. It's about to take place.
Do we invite somebody from the business association, if it was mentioned, to come and do a presentation?
Should we invite the business association, or should we maybe reach out? Let's talk to Nathan Fenwick, who's a previous community board member and also has business on there.
Is a business on there?
Yeah, let's find out what BP, what
You will all undertake the contact, Nathan.
okay, and I'll talk to Sue and Bruce and
Bill and Bruce, yeah. And it's, yeah.
It was mud.
I've got it. We've got round in circles, just
Okay.
thinking I'm nearly.
Move on from there.
Yeah.
So the next topic we have is the plan. I don't propose to go through this. I don't think you were given. You didn't. This is, as I said to people, this is our business plan, but it's just look at the words, not the other things. The pictures are just there for effect. They don't have to be there. But I think we need to look at getting our plan together. And what I would like you to do is look at the information that's on the pages in terms of the text and come back if you want to change anything, we'll make adjustments to that.
this is just something you put together.
Yeah, it was just.
That's not something that people come to you about in Martinborough.
Done. As you'll see through the whole process, there's pictures that are there to do the picture effect, not the actual effect.
I'm looking at going future.
So I looked online at Greytown's community board plan because I quite like to see what other people are doing, because it's sometimes the easiest way to learn things. And I do like the way they laid theirs out as well, because I thought it was actually quite
Very simple plan.
simple. There wasn't too much going on in it. But yeah, I thought it was quite easy to read as well.
So the Greytown Community Board was the only community board in the last triennium who developed the community board plan. And they did that completely independent of council staff.
Yeah.
I have sent out a template for a community board plan. You're welcome to use it or not.
Yeah, we saw.
I think Greytown Community Board is now using that new template. But I mean, it's up to the board how they'd like to lay out their own plan.
Yeah.
Quite like that one.
Yeah. Cool.
What I'd like to do is get people's feedback from that within the next 2 weeks.
Cool.
Some adjustments. Is that time frame okay for everybody?
Yeah. Can we have a set date to get together to go through it? Because that would be more useful than everyone working on it at home
Well, what I'd like you to do
separately.
is come back with your ideas, change.
Yeah.
Send them to me, and then I'll set out a note that we have a meeting together to come back and discuss those. Does that sound all right?
So is this the template?
No, we don't have to use.
No, it's not your template is what I'm saying. No, it's not. They're cool.
No. It's just ideas on a page.
Cool. Well done, Storm. That's
Okay.
awesome.
So
In a 2 week timeframe to.
2 weeks today,
Okay.
the action plan put down.
If it's not for staff,
No.
you can just make a note of it. I just
So about the 18th.
noted here that members have undertook providing feedback on the draft Martinborough Community Board plan.
Oh, what's it going to be?
18th of May.
Okay.
Thursday. No, it's not.
That's two to me.
By then, is that the
18th.
14th,
4 and
so-
14, 18,
18th.
right?
which is what day of the week?
Well, just,
Will still be. Who'd say again, surely.
but that's the last date to get them in. You can do it before then if you wish.
Right.
Don't have to.
Oh, so get
you don't have to
it
wait for the last
together.
minute.
You'll push it together, then we'll have a meeting.
Then, and I'll push it together and then I'll come back and say, right, I'll have a get
Okay.
together about this.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, is that all right?
Get my red pen out.
I'll put some stickers.
Do a nice blue one, please.
What was that?
Do a nice blue one.
Oh, blue.
Don't like red.
To raise them.
Still aggressive.
Oh.
Go on then.
Okay, so we're moving on from there. Palliser Road. I'm going to open up this discussion because there has been some commentary come from Karen about Palliser Road and what we're doing, and maybe with Stefan in attendance, the Cape Palliser Road. The Cape Palliser
That
Road.
was me.
Do you? Okay.
Well, we both went out to
The meeting, but yeah, I was the one that was, yeah.
Angela did the work on getting a meeting, which we've now got, because they felt as though they'd been blindsided by the whole situation.
Okay.
The road was 100% maintained by Whakakatahi, and they're going to cut that right back at some point. They won't be able to.
I've been mentioning for a long time. No,
Oh, okay.
no, it's been reduced down over.
Yeah. Over
That's
the
what we're, I don't know. it's sort of-
On the
that's
Cape
why you-
Palliser Road, there's an excellent piece that Tina wrote that's in this month's Martinborough Star.
Ah.
But she's wrote all about this, about suggestions and ideas. So it's a really good document to actually, as a discussion.
Thanks, and thanks.
Tina Day, is it Tina Day?
Yep.
Yeah, from the Residents Association at Cape Palliser. So she's actually, they've organised the meeting, they've invited me along to the meeting, but I'd like Storm to come to the meeting because I think it's for your more expertise. So, and I had mentioned to Tina that could the chairperson come along. It's on the 14th.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll forward it to you. It's Friday. I don't even know. No, don't confuse me.
No,
The 11th.
Sunday, is it?
No, it's Friday, so whatever Friday. The 12th then.
Well,
Oh, I don't know.
is it 11th is Thursday?
Whatever date it is, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
14th is a Sunday,
Yeah, no, it's not.
isn't it? That's Mother's Day.
And Aidan's agreed to go to it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And there's
this
the
is-
mayor, Stephen, you're going, or is it Tim?
I am going.
I think, yeah, there's.
What day are you going? Because that could be.
Yeah, when are you going? We can't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, right.
I think there's a little bit of confusion around the issues, and what I might do is I might just tidy things up a little bit and issue some information to people.
That's good.
After the, the road is still a special purpose road, subject to the 100% rate. And that doesn't cease until July 2024.
Okay.
And the council's been in a sort of negotiation, I guess, with Whakakatahi about the conditions under which the far rate is reduced and over time. And we're still in that negotiation, and that negotiation includes things like asking for the 100% rate to stay in place for.
We still get 100%.
We do.
Well, that's what I understood, but.
There you go.
We'll get out
Hi.
until July 2024. So we've been asking for things like when the road is handed back, or when the far rate reduces, that the vulnerable areas, which are the areas where it's prone to erosion, there's not much land on the landward side, you don't have options. That those areas, for example, are still rated at 100%. And also the bridges is another area where we've said, look, you can you either repair those in advance or can they be subject to 100%? So it's an ongoing conversation with the Whakatane board about the terms under which the road is the far rate is reduced. So it's not it's not anyone being kept in the dark, and it's not a big deal. It's a negotiation that's ongoing, and we've got plenty of time to sort it out.
So in some of those erosion use, as a general question, would they use stone wall type, concrete block type preventative actions or not?
Could do. Certainly the Eco Reef installations where we have used them have been very effective, but they are very expensive. So, I mean, what I'm saying to you is the council will negotiate as hard as we can to achieve the absolute best possible outcome for that road, and we'll do it in the open. There's no reason why we can't give you full information as we're making those decisions.
Thank you for that. So first thing, Stephen's going to provide us with a bit of
more info.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I might just release some information because there's letters and stuff that go back to 2018.
So summarise for
WBOA anyway.
Summarise for us and give us some community input for the meeting that we've got. Probably around 11-ish.
I did have it in mind. It was the same as what they were just suggesting for the thingy people.
The thingy people?
The people who got the grants, the grant recipients, and you said there were going to be a meeting. Amanda said between 4 and 7 for people to meet, and I said it's the same day as the meeting.
Oh, okay.
The meeting.
That was the meeting
day.
Yeah. And then you said, "Oh, that's okay," because it's So whatever date that was, is the date.
One thing I should also say is that the adjustments to the have already been projected into the LCP. So we are already adjusting as if we go down to the 51% on the road. And that's based on the amount of money that we spend on the road a year, which is significant. We spend about between 400,000 or 500,000 on that road every single year. So we are adjusting as we go to make sure that we're building those budgets if we need them into our LTP numbers. So I just want to reassure people that we've got our eyes.
I think it was unfortunate timing because we had the drop-in session on the morning it was in the paper. Yeah, and that's what caused problem. That's all it was.
The mayor had a meeting with Whakatane, and it was discussed in a in that meeting, public meeting, and there was media there.
They pulled it out.
I don't think all the information was available to the journalists, and unfortunately, it's been a bit of,
And I think that was exactly.
I was thinking heading starting 11 was road.
Probably one.
Road change. That's really. I'll get a bit of a sheet out. Prior to us going and having.
Good idea.
Right, so thank you for that, Stephen. We'll move on now to the next topic, which is the park benches, which are kind of available to us. The thing about the park benches is we
start outside.
We have a discussion about where we want to put them. And
they look pretty naff. And they were, was it $14,000?
And there's 4.
They were bought for Greytown somewhere, weren't they?
They're bought for Greytown, but they've got a little gadget that goes next to them that lights them up, but it's got to be plugged into next to electricity. They went for Greytown, but Oak Park. Is it Oak Park in Greytown? What's it called? Whichever park it was going to in Greytown couldn't install them because they had no power. So they got nice ones with solar power to them. And then they gave us the old ones and said, would you like them to put into your Memorial Square? So they're asking if we want these in Memorial Square.
Because it's surplus to requirement.
Well, because they're thinking that's a good repurpose of them.
So just first reactions, do we want something like that in Memorial Square?
I don't think we do.
Say no.
But the backs on them are quite good. I don't know.
That was the backs on them that I'm actually looking at, because that was the one thing that we had some more elderly saying that with seating there's no, like, they can't actually rest on it. So from that perspective, it might not hurt to have use a couple of those, and it would be nice to actually put the couple in the by Kaka,
Yeah, around the back there.
So maybe two in there would be quite nice. I'm just thinking,
What they suggested, because James Romantic came and showed where he was thinking of putting them. So you've got the line going through the park from Memorial up the gates right through. So he was suggesting putting one on each, so one in each quarter.
He is making it.
can we have a look at,
Edge of this, on the edge of the pavement sort of thing.
may I make a suggestion? Do you want to? I know that Michael Honey actually raised having some seating in Memorial
I also talked to him.
Square
Yeah,
prior to
yeah,
leaving last training. And
get some feedback.
he had marked down some places where the seats could go.
I
believe.
think about it quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's,
Well, I'm just thinking.
but it's a good idea if it,
Into,
because what James said, this, where he was suggesting to put them doesn't fit into the current plan for the square, because he said there is actually quite tells you what's supposed to go where, but he said it's where he thought it made more sense to put them. And so he was wanting, he wants the input into them. They're not ready to go in yet because there's no power in the square to connect them. So it's not enough power. But yeah, I personally don't see why we don't use them without the power. I know.
yeah, do we need the power?
We need power.
So when we look at that, is that based? Is that the base or is that just,
No, they're
There's a,
still on a pallet,
so they're just on?
on pallet, so you can see it's black, it's got little black bits.
They've got little black legs.
And apparently now the new regulations, they've got to have backs on the kneecap.
So what we're just deciding is that, yes, we would perhaps like to use them.
Yeah.
Perhaps we've got to find a spot.
Yeah.
In the Memorial Park for some and maybe around Whaikaha, but
yeah.
Yeah, around there.
I'm just thinking that.
Because we thought even the pump track tank.
so how are we going to resolve these?
Well, let's talk to Michael
So
for the next meeting. Because he said, we're not doing this for some time. He said, this isn't.
And also if he's on the constant as well,
Yeah, he is. I'll talk to Michael.
so that's
but
also,
also,
I think it could be.
yeah, I know like on Christmas Day that park's quite popular for. But that just means this, wouldn't it be nice to have one underneath one like the oak tree or something? One of the oak trees, yeah.
So,
Like a nice.
okay, so I'll speak to Michael first off and see what
Yeah.
he thinks.
Okay,
Has been involved in it, and then we can bring it back up. Because he said James said no agency with it. He just thought while he was meeting us about something else.
Oh, cool.
Bring that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So,
so what we've got
This
is
is right.
two maybe for the memorial. Then the others looking at Whaikaha or Constantine, is that right?
yeah, I've got something Oak Park.
Okay, so we'll.
Or even a step in.
So Andrew, you're going to undertake to.
Yeah, I've got that. I'll speak to Michael about it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
19 May, 2:30, Narwee Community Hall.
there you go, 19th.
19th of May.
I was close, I put it, no, didn't.
No, they're miles away.
No, mate.
That close would come into it.
I was at the right month.
Right, month. That's a win. Okay, so moving on from that, we've got some feedback coming from Angela for the,
They'll go to the
Right,
public
benches.
Friday, don't they?
Yeah,
so the next one we've got is Payne Farm. And I'm going to ask Karen, are you happy with the responses you got from the other Karen?
okay.
Well, I wanted a clarification of, following our workshop, there was an undertaking on those 2 points relating to the lease that has been left unpaid for several years on the transfer station. And the first one was actually the extra in-house charges that were applied. I haven't got all the details in front of me, but 2 years ago, and they were going to. It turned out that it seemed as though they had been approved by the council. And there was a question that hadn't actually been done under the proper process.
It was an action, I think she was like an email.
Yes.
Yeah, so I sent an email and she said that it had to come, the process was to bring it through to the meeting.
Ah, I see. So we, what, to make it an action or?
Well, it already is an action.
It is already an action.
Action, yeah.
Action number 94.
Yeah, so there
It's in
was
the actions, but we're just not.
All right, okay.
Clarity on how we deal with it.
Request a follow-up email.
first follow up my email where I said that I understood
Okay.
that they'd undertaken to look at that extra in-house charge and make sure that it had been applied properly.
Okay.
With a view to perhaps refunding it. and at the very least stopping charging it in future if it hadn't been quickly action. And the second one was the what did I just say? Sorry, my brain's not working.
Yeah.
The second one was the
Unpaid.
lease monies for the transfer station.
Yeah.
And they said that they were going to get an evaluation for that. Now, this leads on to this report here, which I wonder why they didn't ask for that valuation at the same time as they're getting evaluation for
That report is in,
Public excluded.
I think it's quite a yes.
Okay.
Can't book that yet.
So anyway. So there's no word on.
So how do we follow up
So-
action? That's what we're trying to work out, isn't it?
What is the proper way? I was told that I need to bring it up at the meeting.
So we'll bring it up.
Perfect. So can we do a follow-up then on the action to?
I'll just put an update on the action, requests for
Yeah.
follow-up. Yeah.
Follow.
Perfect, thank you.
That'll be-
For next meeting.
Yeah. So that's is the end of the agenda items with respect to the chair's report. So we now have to.
The chair's report.
I need to get a nomination and second, don't I, for that,
Just to receive the report.
to receive the report?
Yep.
I'll move that.
Thank you. Second it. Thank you.
Down now.
Okay, done. There, she's not here.
No, I've lost my bit.
So then we go through to the next item, which is the income and expenditure reports.
Yeah.
And I need to ask for a nomination to receive the report.
Yeah,
Yeah, Angela, thank you. And can we have a seconder? Karen, looks like you're second.
All right.
Thank
Yep,
you. Good.
I can hardly read that once again. It's very-
So does anybody have any questions to that expenditure report?
I did have a question.
It's in, no, it's in the back of
Yeah,
the prepared notes. It's in the meeting. It's the appendix 1.
Is there, I'm just wondering why the members' salaries is over. What am I missing there? So the budget, what's over budget?
Sorry, the members' salaries
Yeah,
are over the budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
Going on the expenses, like if you have a look at the budget and then you look at the expenses, it's like, it's weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can put an action there to clarify.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One thing, if you're looking at the first page of the expense report, I just struggle to understand the grant section and where the numbers come from. If you have a look at the section, so I can understand all the grants that were
we're giving out.
applied.
Yeah.
Then there's a section which talks about applied, and then there's a number which I don't know where it came from, 4919.23. I just don't see where that came.
What's this, a balance carried forward from previous year excludes swimming pool funds? Total
It
grant,
excludes swimming pool funds. So
yeah,
what it says is we had a surplus the year before, and that's what's carried through. Is that what I'm understanding?
Sorry, can you say that again? Which section?
I don't understand where this number is coming
Yeah, so that would be the balance carried forward from the previous year.
from. Okay, so, but it's not recorded in here. It's just the balance we've taken forward, so we're taking that. There's no other reference to that piece.
Oh, no, that would probably just be what was remaining in the grants fund last triennium. And so that would have been carried forward as part of the 2022-2023 financial year, which ends 30th of June.
So what it says, we've got a total grants fund available of 267.
Yeah, so that would be what's remaining. And then
But I can't see how we get to that number by the numbers that are in front. of
no, no, and the other thing is when you look at the statement of funds from the monthly financial statements presented at the finance thing, I think that's where it's from, this was online, the figures are slightly different.
So I just don't understand.
Which I don't get.
have just a query on that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
an explanation.
I just need an explanation as to where that number come from as being what we have available, because it doesn't add up to any of those numbers.
So it would be
It's your opening balance.
100 was the annual plan grant allocation for the 2022-2023 financial year.
Yeah.
You have paid out $6,127.50 in grants.
Yeah.
You have $815, which have been committed through resolutions. Then the balance carried forward from the last year should add up to $2,676.73.
Yeah. But if you look at the balance of reserves, which is from the financial statements, which is the same period, 31st of March, it says opening balance was 5, it's rounded. Opening balances was 5, which is that figure there, Storm, what you just said, 4919. Transfers in another 5, which was the money going in. Transfers out was 5. Closing balance should be 5, but our closing balance is 2676. It's nowhere near the.
I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
They're quite
Maybe
different.
my poor accounting skills would stand out there.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
I just struggle to understand it. Numbers usually, everything else is put together, but I just
Yeah,
couldn't
because
find
the only one that didn't work, because the 15 grand you can see is the
everything else.
25 I can see, more or less, because it's rounded, but that didn't seem to make sense.
So how do we make a question about that?
I can just ask for clarification.
Just ask,
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
it's under that grants sector. I just like to understand the numbers.
They do kind of add up. Those two figures in and then the 6 and the 6,800 out.
It's paid out, committed funds is the same, so
You do-
fix 1, 2.
Does add up.
You do
Yeah,
have,
it does add up.
So what's the equation, so?
yeah.
So for this financial year, there was $4,700
Your opening balance.
donated to the grant fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was $4,919.23 that was carried over from the 2021-2022 grant fund balance.
Yeah, so that's the
You
fund.
have given away $6,127 in grants to community organizations. And then there's $815, which is subtracted from the available funds, because that is committed to organizations that still have yet to uplift their grants.
So you're saying that
Yeah, 260.
Yes.
2676 is what
Is remaining.
So on the balance of reserves on the financial statements, which says we've got 5,000 left, that's wrong.
Well, I don't know what,
This is from online from the accounts that were presented the other day at the finance committee statement. So, which tells us, because what it says here is that according to this, it says Payne Farm have got 141,000 in a closing balance, which isn't the same as what we've got on these figures. So I'm not sure why we have different
so
figures.
this income and expenditure report would have been for the period ending 31st of March. Is that the same?
Yeah, that's best. I just wasn't sure why it was different.
I'm not sure.
No, yeah.
I can add that if you'd like.
I mean, it would, this was.
I wasn't so worried about that because it was only
Does add up.
a few $1,000s, it was like,
Yeah.
so 1,000. But with the Payne Farm one, it said that the closing balance was 141,000. But on our Payne Farm financial funds.
I can see that now. So I've done the math.
Okay, okay.
I can actually do the math. I see.
They were quite big.
Sorry, it maybe should go.
And that's.
Yeah. I
Like,
think
in a
that's what it
different
is.
order, like
Yeah,
I-
yeah. I think that's literally what it is, because it goes,
I know that
it goes back and then out and then in and then
Oh,
out
And
and then total, which.
Yeah. that's-
Okay, so I now have no questions
okay.
for that.
Yeah.
Do you girls have any questions?
Balance 141. Girls, we're girls.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ladies.
Ladies. Yeah, my only other question related to the fact that the Payne Farm accounts give us a total funds available. It's just, I know people were interested in how much we want to distribute of 85,000.
Is this in this one?
Page 12 of your document
In
that's
the
there,
financial
Yeah.
statements.
financial statement. So, but if you compare it back to 31st of March 2023, it gives me a closing balance of 141,000,
So that is quite different.
which is quite different.
It's quite different.
Can I have a look at that? Because I don't know.
That's not a report that is included in this agenda.
It's this.
No, this is, I'm looking at that one, it's page 12 of the agenda. The one the one I'm comparing it to is off the different, it was just what was on the latest update on the thing. I'd actually seen this document first, before I'd seen this one, and I thought, oh gosh, there's 141,000, we must. That's why I was looking at it, to see if we'd got the money that was missing that we hadn't received for Payne Farm, so that's why I was looking at that document.
Yep.
And then when I saw our statement come through and it's got a different amount on it, it's just because I was interested in how much there was to distribute, because I know
It's a lot of.
there are people asking for how much we've got or wanting to know. So there was a big difference between 85,000 there and 141 there, which I might be reading something incorrectly.
Have a look.
So this is
On the agenda,
I didn't know this is what's on the web.
this is that,
and,
this is the hours that we've been given in our agenda pack.
oh, so,
That, and
yeah, that's right, yeah.
yeah, so you've got that, and this is what's off the monthly financial statements for Payne Farm, 31st of March 2023, which gives us a different closing balance. So I was just wondering why the figures were different.
So that's to the, okay, so that's to the end of March.
At the same period, months in, transfers out.
That's all of amenities, is it? No?
Payne Farm, no, that's campground.
That's-
That's Payne Farm.
Oh.
So that there,
Okay.
I just don't understand why that doesn't equal the same.
No, that's right.
Because we've got the same opening balance, 103. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then the total surplus. This should
we don't have the transfers, transfers.
No,
now.
but you were
So
just doing
there,
the different, yeah,
well, there's the transfers done. That's different amount.
yeah. You know what I mean? I thought that it would link back up again. It's maybe just in a different format, and maybe that's all that we're not seeing.
No, that's the closing amount.
But it's different, but that looks like we've got that amount, and that looks like we've got that amount.
Hang on, take that away.
That's not been, so is it insurance?
Possibly, just.
What's 35 and 36? No, that's 121. Yeah, so there is a discrepancy between.
Andrew, could you email your question with,
With the reference to each.
I'm having trouble. Yeah. Just documenting exactly.
Yeah.
So Angela, you'll email it.
Yeah. Because then I can refer it to the exact page on the.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Thank you. The only other recommendation would be, if the board was interested in setting dates for, a Payne funding round, as we discussed. I know that there's some community organizations that are waiting to apply. So I'm not sure if you wanted to open funding round or just have them apply.
I think the hardest part is what we said last time was that we were still waiting.
Yeah.
To know exactly what the funds were available. And that was why Karen was doing their report. So that way we would have it coming in here to be able to sort out when the funding round is.
Okay.
However, we're going to have to wait now until we get that report from Karen. So that way, as well as making sure that the information that we have is correct with the amount. So that way we know how much we have.
So this is still showing those two large amounts coming out of what are essentially overhead. But she said she would look, basically look.
No, so that'd be great. Like, I mean, if we,
I think this could just be just taking different formats for some reason.
no, but the numbers aren't the same at
The
all.
numbers don't match.
And then there's the insurance money too. Where did that?
Well, it says on here, actually it said that it didn't include insurance on this one. There's no insurance claim received, has not been included in the report, so it's in there. So it's there, but it's not shown in that figure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
But
need
it could
to
be,
show in this.
but it could be on this figure, but we're still 20,000 pounds difference.
Because if we, okay, so just as a query, if we wanted to look at a funding from Payne Farm funding round.
Yeah.
I just don't think we should do it until we actually had the correct numbers. I mean, and in the back of my head, I was like, maybe if we just did.
Yeah, no, I was thinking maybe if we said we'd only gonna do, even if we did a 20 the fund or something. Yeah. I know, that's what I was thinking. Do we say we'll open it?
They came to us with how much they were wanting and then we can have a look, but I don't want to do that until we know what we've got.
Your numbers, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do need to follow up.
Yeah.
So we can appease and look after our community without waiting for that.
We're all waiting.
Have they've gotten in touch with you asking about the funding round? Are you able to just apologise to them and let them know that they're on our radar and that we are looking and that we're just needing to confirm the
Yeah.
amount in there to be able to, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sign Storm. What was
Thank you.
Storm's fault, it always is.
Yeah.
So we'll draw that to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll now move to the action items report.
Yeah.
Have a mover to receive, please. There we go.
My turn.
Oh, yeah.
Just checking it.
Yeah.
Yep, good. Okay, so do we need to go through these? So I've cleaned up a lot of them.
Yeah.
So there's a few that are still open. And I don't know.
Were you going to see Nathan about the? The question about the 731 or?
Want me to do this? 731?
721?
Yeah, 731. So we got as far as we have
Wow.
our draft. We have what it would look like in situ. How it looks on a board. It's very flash. So what we haven't got is the wording to use. Because it needs exact wording. Have you seen it, Stefan?
Yep.
You've seen this? Yeah.
The new bill.
So we haven't actually got the wording, he's put pretend wording in at the moment. So we'd need to work, and no one can remember what happened to the original board. And we've checked with Pam Clenzo, we've checked with Bryce, we've checked with Nathan and a couple of other people.
Yeah, but the Bryce say didn't know what happened to the previous board.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
Bryce told me to ask Nathan, Nathan told me to ask Pam, and Pam told me to ask Nathan.
I mean, the board's so basically so we needed to set up a base, basically. It doesn't
Yeah,
even, but
so it's got its sticks, it's got its little bits.
Yeah.
That we can reuse, but what we haven't got is what we put in,
The wording.
the wording, because he's got gobbledygook in. So we need to know what we want to be, what words we want and which
Mhm.
actual features we want. So
Okay.
make the people can look at. So what he said is, so at the moment he's given me as an estimate. He said it would normally be about 3K for Pat, he does for Andy, and he'll do it for 500. The print cost is 250. This is all plus GST, and the sign making, which is the format, because the printing is like the wraparound that they do, and then the sign is the metal structure. He thinks we can reuse our sticks, our post, put it on. So he's gone to have a look. So that's approximately $1,500 plus GST for that.
Wow.
They're supposed to get replaced roughly every 5 years is how long it lasts for in that special wrap that it's got on it. So he's showing me pictures of some in situ in other places where they use them, and they can do a QR code reader which scan off your phone, which will give you more information if you want it. So basically what we've got to do next is decide if we're going to spend the money on it, but also what would we want to include. And so what he's got here as well, he's saying you need some text. We can play with what you choose. Here's some ideas. Nawaka Kupe, Orangi Forest Park, Kohonui Marae, Lake Anoki, Hauraki Marae, Rumahanga River. Oh, it used to be a transport route, the old crossing, 1855 earthquake, whether we want to put that. Hawanui Wind Farm turbines, Martinborough Township and Square. And he's saying anything else we can think of. Yeah, it says, my 2 cents, it would be awesome to push our unique Maori cultural history to the forefront where possible. It's not really any other opportunity to learn about it as you come in if you're a tourist. So he thinks it would be quite nice to focus on that.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so basically what we need is someone to take over the
text. Do you want me to
It could be, I wonder if,
take it to?
I mean, I wonder if the Marae would want to do some input into it or.
Yeah,
Nate.
definitely Kohonui would.
Yeah.
And so would,
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no reason why, there's already something that was written for Lake Anoki anyway.
I know.
Stefan, are you able to check for me, please? I believe that there was at one point, they were looking at doing signs for Lake Anoki. They were looking at doing a sign near Kupe South.
James was talking about signs the other day. And we were,
I just remember that there had been, I've seen a draft copy of some. I have a feeling that it was in the council.
Okay.
Yeah, and that they were looking at, at some of our sites. And I'm just wondering if there is, because we don't want to,
No,
we don't want to use some wording that then contradicts any wording that might
nice to
still
keep
be
it
going out.
consistent, yeah.
Yeah, so they were looking at signage for places like Lake Winoki or Kupe Vale.
Reading that
and-
you want to translate it into.
And I don't know, translate, I want to know what the sign says, because we've on here, on here, where we're saying.
You said about 30 words.
If we're going to say Lake Winoki's here, we can use like a snapshot of about Lake Winoki, so people go, oh,
If
tourists that thought
we've
they'd
got
go,
that language pretty.
yeah, if that's
yes.
okay, and then I don't know if there's anything for RA, but we might to have a look and put something together. Yep. That would be a mullen,
Yeah,
because I mean, it doesn't say Kupe sale, but we could.
So yes, it looks like we've got a price of about $1,500, but he's going to come back with me with a quote that covers all of it in one go to make sure that that's right.
When you get the quote, can you post it in?
And then we can decide, from, do we want to go ahead and do it? Would you like that little bundle to take with you?
Mind that we don't have any, that we don't have any,
Nothing from the old sign.
no, the old sign, yeah.
I know, so I don't know what happened to it, where it ended up or.
Who made it? Do we know?
No,
Oh, so we don't know anything about the old sign at all.
nobody seems to know anything about it.
Just got slapped up there one day, magically. Awesome.
And then magically taken down.
Things we can do,
Yeah.
things we can do magically.
Yeah.
So
So if I can give you that whole package, I can reprint it all.
Yep.
And then you could work on that.
Mhm.
With, and I'll just better not take that one out. Just take this one out. And then we'll keep it in its little folder.
well, that'd be cool. Yeah, thank you.
And then you can see, I just think it would be really cool to get the Mariah's and be involved, the Mariah Standing Committee, since it's quite an important document.
As you say, representative on there, there's a Hauriki Marae representative on there. There's someone that has info from Doc that could do the Aorangi Forest
Awesome.
and probably Lake Noki.
Yeah, so I think,
Kurunu Marae.
so you've probably got everybody there who needs.
Okay. So really, and in fact, could talk about all of that. So,
And that's just what he's suggesting, which he said was based upon what was there or something.
Mhm.
How we know that, but, so,
are you able to put forward that, the next multi-standing committee need to speak to for the Martinborough
perfect,
about
did well put in sign.
the historical, oh, sorry, the signage. at
You want to
Bibbles
put in
Cafe.
a member's report with like the pictures and that kind of thing.
No, I think what I might do is I might just make up a little pack or, yeah, are you able
Yeah,
to?
just send it through to me.
I've only got it like that.
Can I take it and scan
Yeah,
it?
yep.
Yep.
Um,
And you're happy at a member's report?
yeah, and I'll just speak to it.
Yeah.
On the night.
Be awesome, because then we get it moving.
Yeah, exactly,
Perfect, because
because the longer you leave it, the more expensive things get.
we were getting stuck by.
Yeah.
It was good doing cycles.
You might as well start,
If we've got to start from fresh, we may as well.
start moving it again.
So. Anything else? No, oh, sorry, that was the only thing I had off the actual.
The other four look to be still open, is that right?
Yeah,
Just on the briefly on the tree committee, which we're now forming, we're in process. We talked about how we deal with any money. There's quite a few people who potentially would contribute some funds.
Or,
Trees.
Tree committee. The Martinborough Tree Committee.
oh, yeah.
In action, and it's been taken off, but it's in play. So we don't want to particularly, I mean, I'm facilitating it. It will go on after me. I'm just helping to get it going. We didn't want to particularly make it an incorporated society. So this isn't just in terms of being able to receive funds and pay for things. Can that be done sort of some way through the council as a committee? you understand what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I'm not sure. I can,
Do I have some
Check.
notes on that?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, in the future, it may well become an incorporated society. You can do that online and it's not particularly onerous, but in the meantime, if people give us a donation or what, it would be good to be able to process that, those funds and through the council if we can, rather than setting it our own entity.
I don't think we can.
Can't?
Define, do you know the answer to that?
Strongly suspect you can't.
Yeah.
But, let's take the back.
Okay, thank you.
Could we do it under a donation? But I don't know how you handle a donation.
No,
I mean, if people could donate in kind, obviously, but if we had to pay someone, you kind of really need to do it, need to do it through a bank account or something. You understand? Yeah. I mean, I can't put it in my back pocket and then give it to someone.
no.
But maybe in the future, I mean, in the old days, you could just open a bank account under a name, but you can't really do that anymore. I don't particularly want to do that.
Particularly if there's very little trading.
No, I just don't know if the tree,
Committee.
It's probably more outgoings than income.
no, but I don't know if the tree committee sits under the Martinborough Community Board as such,
Or whether it's going
or
to.
does it?
Yeah, that's the question. Really.
Because it would have to sit under the Martinborough Community Board to be able to do that.
Yeah,
And you're talking about people wanting to donate money towards trees, I'm assuming.
Yeah. That's right.
I suppose the
So-
question is how to manage the
How
account.
do we manage that?
Okay.
Or do we have to make it into, not me personally, but it would have to become an incorporated society, which,
What happens with Considine Park when there's funds?
yeah,
Or are there no?
it's a council asset, though.
There are no funds for Considine Park, so that's why.
Yes, there's no money.
No,
So we do have a project,
who does?
the tree committee.
Okay,
Well, it's not a committee, actually, it's just a group. I don't want to be too pedantic. So the Martinborough Tree Group is being formed at the moment. We have a project. We have quite a lot of interest. We have quite a lot of people who want to contribute. In kind, in some cases, they've got plants that they can just give us, and that's easier,
yeah.
but also funds. So is it possible to do that through the council? That's just my question. Does it?
I don't think so, because it's a volunteer group,
Yes.
so it doesn't actually fall under anything with regards to council.
I'll ask the
Yeah.
finance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not
Not insurmountable.
today, but it's just what's the best thing to do?
Just imagine if you could, that'd be amazing.
Okay, so
Finished.
could we call it quits to the,
Yep, you'll just need to make a resolution to move into public excluded.
okay, so now we need to move into a public excluded. Thinking it,
Second, yeah.
okay, do we turn that off or?
Yeah, just give me one sec.
I know.
Yeah, just. Stephanie, are you wanting to talk to this straight away?
Oh,